Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in EDH, and today we're looking at Empress Galina. So what is Empress Galina? She's a 5 mana 1/3, and she has blue tap, gain control of target legendary permanent. So right away, this is not going to be the most competitive of commanders. She's a 5 mana creature that doesn't do anything when she enters the battlefield and has to tap to activate herself. But this is a powerful effect. It of course can steal your opponent's commanders, and it can steal various other legendary permanents as well. So some standout cards are things like Gaia's Cradle or like the One Ring. You can steal any of that. So Empress Galina does have her benefits. So of course, anything that's going to give Galina haste or untap her can be used in combination with the ability to gain control of multiple legendary permanents a turn. And the main card that's going to combo with Galina is Leyline of Singularity, a permanent that says all non-land permanents are legendary. So by making all non-land permanents legendary, that means that Galina can steal anything. It also does have some fringe side benefits. So for example, like treasure tokens from Dockside become legendary, and then you only get to keep one of them. So a little bit of side benefits there, but it's primarily used in combination with Galina's ability to just be able to steal anything. So of course we want our combo pieces. So obviously Dramatic Scepter to go infinite with Mana Rocks, or just keep untapping Galina to steal stuff. In particular, if you've got Leyline of Singularity plus this and 3 Mana Rocks that produce at least 4 mana, 2 of which is blue, you can steal everything on the board. We're also going to want effects like Freed from the Real, Pemon's Aura, Apheto Alchemist, Ireth, Kelpie Guide, Vizier of Tumbling Sands, and Staff of Domination to untap stuff, which of course includes Galina. And then things that copy the effect like Illusionist Bracers, Rings of Bright Hearth. Any of those get to untap or copy Galina's ability so that you get to use it more than once. But these effects can also go infinite with other things. So if you've got like Mana Rocks, lands, other types of permanents that you can untap stuff with, you can potentially go infinite there as well. So a big piece here is going to be Gilded Lotus. So Gilded Lotus's ability to produce triple blue is going to allow us to put Freed from the Real or Pemon's Aura onto any untap effect. So things like, let's say we've got an Apheto Alchemist, right? And then we've got Freed from the Real. So we Freed from the Real the Apheto Alchemist, and then we have a Gilded Lotus in play. The Gilded Lotus produces triple blue. The Apheto Alchemist taps, untaps the Gilded Lotus, then you activate the Freed from the Real to untap Apheto Alchemist. You're down 1 blue, but you have 2 floating, so you net 2 mana with every iteration, so you generate infinite blue mana that way. So that's going to work with Gilded Lotus, plus any effect that can untap creatures, so like Freed from the Real and Pemon's Aura, and then any untapper that can untap Gilded Lotus, so Apheto Alchemist, Kelpie Guide, Ireth, Vizier of Tumbling Sands. And there's a whole host of various combos that involve tapping and untapping stuff that I'm not going to go deep in, but basically there's lots and lots of combinations of these cards that allow you to generate infinite mana or just get infinite untap tap effects with anything that has a tap ability. Then we've got other combos like Deadeye Navigator plus Peregrine Drake to make infinite mana that way. If we have infinite mana, we can draw our whole deck with Staff of Domination. We've got infinite colorless mana via Basalt Monolith and Power Artifact, or Basalt Monolith plus Rings of Bright Hearth, and so on. Then we've got cards that just straight up draw outside of any of these combos, so Consecrated Sphinx, Remora, Ristic Study, and then Narset here, which is more of a stacks piece to prevent our opponents from drawing cards, and of course the One Ring, which benefits greatly from all of these various untap effects. You of course have all of our various counter spells to protect our commander and the various combos that we're trying to do, as well as just disrupt our opponents in general. Mana Drain, better in this deck than normal because we've got a big expensive 5 mana commander that has 3 colorless mana right here that we can potentially pay for using Mana Drain, or just other big payoffs like Consecrated Sphinx, Deadeye Navigator, etc. A little bit of fast mana, some haste via Greaves and Thousand Year Elixir, so that we can tap with Galina immediately if we happen to have an additional 2 blue floating around. And of course, Lightning Greaves will just protect her in general. Various blue lands, including of course Manamo to untap stuff. Some more protection in Kira. Then of course we're going to want to have a bunch of ramp, including keys like Manifold Key and Voltaic Key to untap stuff, specifically really good with cards like Mana Vault, Basalt Monolith, and Grim Monolith. Patriarch's Seal also works as a way to untap legendary creatures, so Galina, while also being a Mana Rock. And then, of course, Sapphire Medallion to reduce the cost of blue spells. We've got a bunch of various types of removal, so like Blast Zone, Chain of Vapor, Eaten by Piranhas as a flash way to take out a creature, specifically a commander, so that it doesn't come back. We've also got Gilded Drake as well. Submerge, Dress Down, just a whole bunch of different like bounce and removal spells of various kinds. Some additional cards here. Obviously, we want tutors, including artifact tutors, because a bunch of our combos involve artifacts. Wandering Archaic here is a miscellaneous value spell to copy opposing spells. And then we've got various untap effects that I brought up earlier. So Phaedo Alchemist, Ireth, Kelpie Guide, Maidrite Stone, Sting the Glinting Dagger, which triggers on combat to untap a creature, the equipped creature, 1,000-Year Elixir, and Vizier. So all various untap effects that can be used in combination with various combos or Galina and whatnot to just go off further. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be Empress Galina. So Empress Galina can steal opposing commanders or just have various other combos using all of these other things. Now, of course, one thing to keep in mind with Empress Galina is that because she's in the command zone, of course, your opponents will know that you have a way to steal their commanders or their Gaia's Cradles or rings or whatnot. So they will play around that and probably have answers and protection for it. So you do have to keep that in mind when running Galina and accordingly try to counter how they're countering you. But yep, that is pretty much going to be Empress Galina.